year, defeating the Minnesota Vikings 17-13. And back in 1966, the Cowboys lost to Baltimore 35-3. Los Angeles, winners of the Coastal Division, won 11 games and lost 3. Their 3 losses were their last 3 games: Minnesota, Detroit, and Baltimore. In 1968, the Los Angeles Rams were here at the playoff bowl and defeated Cleveland 30-6. Each team boasts a rookie running star. Dallas notably with Calvin Hill, who garnered 942 yards in the season and unquestionably would have passed the 1,000-yard mark in his rookie year had he not come up with a broken toe that kept him sidelined for an extended period of time. Larry Smith emerged as a running star for the Los Angeles Rams. And Larry Smith will have a little rooting section right here in the Orange Bowl, for he is from Florida. And he raced for 599 yards in the course of the regular season play. This playoff ball is being carried across the nation by the CBS Radio Network and to our men in uniform around the world by Armed Forces Radio Service. And if I can be excused a personal note, I certainly hope that Armed Forces Radio is able to reach my son Brian in Vietnam and that it's that kind of a day when he can listen to a football game. We'll bring more color and lineups in just a moment. Where in Western world are you going? Let Western get you there.
Reno is a great place for winter sports of all kinds. You can play indoors in Reno and exciting Lake Tahoe, and outdoors at nearby Heavenly Valley and Squaw Valley, which offers some of the best skiing in the world. Whatever your sport, Western Airlines is the way to get to it. A daily nonstop from San Francisco with a convenient, relaxed mid-morning departure time. This year, winter with the other sports. Jet to Reno nonstop on Western Airlines.
Once again, with me is Dan Crickey, who will be bringing you the play-by-play action through the first half. The word from the field is that Dallas won the toss and will receive, so Dan is now in position to give you the starting lineups. Dan?
Jack, I certainly have to agree with you. What you had to say about the two best matchups, the one best matchup between these two outstanding teams here in the playoff ball, probably on the Dallas Cowboys and the Los Angeles Rams. They each enjoy as much fine personnel as any two teams in football. They really have it. The Dallas Cowboys, as Jack pointed out, have won the toss and they'll be receiving to open the game. Their wide receivers are number 22, Bob Hayes, and number 19, Lance Rensel. Dennis Norman, wearing number 84, starts at the tight end. The offensive linemen, they have 72, Tony Liscio at one tackle, and 73, Ralph Neely at the other. The guards are John Nyland, he wears 76, and John Wilbur 65. The center is 57, Malcolm Walker. At quarterback, and a big one, Craig Morton. He's number 14 for the Dallas Cowboys. His running backs, and a couple of very potent ones. Walt Garrison, 32, and rookie Calvin Hill, 35. Hill rushed for 942 yards, and this is his first season in the National Football League. Walt Garrison rushed for 818 yards. Both have a yard per carry average of 4.6. There's tremendous similarity between these two teams. Look at the quarterbacks. They're both what has now evolved into a pretty commonplace thing in professional football, the big quarterback. They're both 6'4", weigh around 220 pounds. And both teams base their running game around the performances of outstanding rookies. Calvin Hill of the Cowboys, and of course, rookie Larry Smith of the Los Angeles Rams. Looking at the Rams defensively, their left defensive end is all-pro Deacon Jones, number 75, a 6'5", 260-pounder, who is open in his own assessment, saying there's not a man in football that can hold him out. It takes 2 or 3. Anytime they go one-on-one with me, I'll bust it wide open. Deacon Jones, considered to be the premier defensive end in all of pro football. And the man next to him is 74, Merlin Olsen. He, too, enjoys consensus all-pro honors, 6'5", 270 pounds. The right end is Byron Talbert. He played at the University of Texas. Byron is 6'5", 255 pounds. And it was moved now to a starting right tackle position is Coy Bacon. Coy wears number 79. He weighs 270 pounds, stands 6'4". Both these teams with outstanding defenses, both with a great front four that generates the big pass rush. The linebackers for Los Angeles, 32 Jack Pardee on the left side. 53 Jim Purnell will start on the right side. Maxie Vaughn, the man who calls the defensive signals for the Rams, is out of this game. As you know, he was injured in the final regular season game, played very little against the Minnesota Vikings in the National Football League's Western Conference title game a week ago. The middle linebacker will be number 57, Doug Woodleaf, and right now, let's go down to the field for our national anthem. From the Orange Bowl in Miami, the National Football League Playoff Bowl. And we now pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the CBS Radio Network.
This is Jack Carney, and I hope you'll join me as often as possible every day from noon until 4 o'clock on KSFO Radio in San Francisco.
Looking at the rest of the Los Angeles Ram defense, the cornerbacks will be 24 Clancy Williams and 19 Jim Nettles. The safeties are 17 Richie Pettibone and number 21 Eddie Metter, an all-pro free safety for the Los Angeles Rams. Jack Drees, it's be interesting to see just how these teams perform in this game. They're both naturally, as you pointed out, disappointed over losing out in their respective conference playoff games last weekend. I know this week the Dallas Cowboys have been in closed practice sessions all week under Coach Tom Landry, so very obviously they're taking this quite seriously, and I'm sure the Rams are also.
Well, it's a strong matter of pride, of course, for each. I think they will likewise be ready to admit that they represent a fine matchup of two exceptional teams going in this game, and the pride factor is a strong one. It's the difference between a man who can make it big in professional football and the one who makes the roster or can't quite make the squad. And that pride surfaces in almost any kind of contest, from a preseason one to a postseason. The Los Angeles Rams feel, I know, that they have a good bit to prove. If there was a turning point in their season, it was the first of their last three games when they lost to the Minnesota Vikings in a game that meant nothing to Minnesota. It was a good importance to Los Angeles, but Minnesota had clinched their divisional crown. They were one of the early ones to do it. And yet Minnesota was able to defeat them, and Los Angeles, after gearing up emotionally for that contest, just came apart at the seams with a good bit of help from the Lions, as Detroit shut them out the next week 28-0, and they wound up the season losing to Baltimore. So that if there's going to be a bounce back for the Los Angeles Rams, and there was extreme disappointment, of course, in Los Angeles at the way the season concluded, this would be as good a time to start the year 1970 as any, and I'm sure, Dan, that you can say the same thing for Dallas.
There's no question about it. The Cowboys have great personnel. They have met disappointment now 4 consecutive years, losing out in a playoff game. And Landry's going to have this team going all out. I think we're going to see, Jack, 2 wide-open offenses. I don't think there's going to be any holding back here today. The Cowboys are in the playoff ball for a second straight year. You may recall last year they beat the Minnesota Vikings 17-13 right here at Miami. Right now, the Los Angeles Rams defensive unit is being introduced. The Rams are wearing white uniforms with the blue numerals, the blue and white helmets. The Cowboys are dressed in navy jerseys with white numerals, the silver pants, the silver helmets. And we are just minutes away now from the opening kickoff. One of the most remarkable athletes who will be on display in this game is the quarterback of the Los Angeles Rams, Roman Gabriel, who so far has been named in one poll the most valuable player in the National Football League and another the outstanding player in the league. And Gabriel is the leader of this Los Angeles Rams team. He was particularly disappointed, as were all the Rams, after the loss to the Vikings last Saturday. But it was a bitter disappointment for Gabriel. He performed so admirably. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 times he was trapped by that Viking defense. Only twice did they get him, once for a safety. And we'll be back with the opening kickoff shortly.
Oh, where in Western world are you going? Let Western get you there. If you're heading for Denver, remember your geometry. The shortest distance between 2 points is, well, at the 2 points of the Bay Area and Denver, the shortest distance is nonstop or direct with Western Airlines. On any of 6 jets a day from the Bay Area, including 2 nonstops from San Francisco and a through jet from Oakland. So from San Francisco or Oakland to Denver, go straight to your phone and call Western or your travel agent. Where in Western world are you going? Let Western get you there.
This is Don Cricky with Jack Drees back at the Orange Bowl in Miami. We are now moments away from the opening kickoff of the National Football League playoff bowl game between the Los Angeles Rams and the Dallas Cowboys. We just had a meeting between the respective co-captains of each team. They have both gone back into their huddles now. Across the way, the Rams huddling around George Allen. As you look at your radio dial, the Cowboys, who will be receiving, will be moving from left to right. They deploy out in the field now to receiving formation. Bruce Gossett will kick off for Los Angeles. We have 2 of the most prolific right legs in the National Football League in this game. Mike Clark, the placement and kickoff man for the Dallas Cowboys, accounted for 103 points this season. And his counterpart with the Rams will be kicking off momentarily. Bruce Gossett scored 102. Dropping back now for Dallas, we have a double tandem. Calvin Hill is going back. He is standing at about the 6-yard line, and the deep man is a rookie from the University of Tennessee, a sprinter, Richmond Flowers. So Flowers and Hill, a pair of rookies, are back deep for the Dallas Cowboys as Gossett cuts the ball on the kicking tee. Los Angeles, the National Football League Coastal Division titleist, the Dallas Cowboys, winner of the Capital Division. Both teams are aligned and ready to go now as Gossett approaches the ball. He hits it and the game is underway. It's a low kick. It carries down to the 10, takes a bounce. Calvin Hill fields the ball on the 3-yard line. He's back across the 10 to the 15. Hit at the 17-yard line. He drives across the 20-yard line. And it'll be 1st and 10 there for the Dallas Cowboys. David Ray coming down to make the first contact on the kickoff coverage for the Los Angeles Rams. So it is now 1st and 10 for Dallas. We're early in the ball game. First play from scrimmage coming up. Lance Rensel goes out wide to the right as a wide receiver. To the near side, Bob Hayes is out 3 yards. Out of the I formation, Morton gives off to Calvin Hill. He's got yardage. He's out to the 25 as he moves to the left side. The Right side of the Ram defense is over there in pursuit, led by Coy Bacon. Big 270-pounder, his second year from Jackson State. There was a gain of about 3 yards on the play. It's going to be second down and 7 now for the Dallas Cowboys. They have the ball at their 25-yard line. The Cowboys will flip their wide receivers. This time Rensel is out wide to the near side, and Bob Hayes is split to the left. They open into an open set in the backfield now, breaking out of the I formation. Calvin Hill goes wide in motion to the left. On the rollout here is Craig Morton, gets away from one would-be tackler, throws the ball downfield, intercepts the ball for the Rams at the Dallas 35. He's knocked out of bounds at the 30. So we have a very important turnover, Jack, early in the game as the Rams get the football with excellent field position at the Dallas 30.
And the Rams went for a blitz on the first passing situation. Second and long yardage, they gauged the pass, blitzed the left linebacker, and that was the direction in which Craig Morton was rolling out, and he had to hurry that throw, and it was costly.
Jack Pardee was unable to bring Morton down, but he did put pressure on him. Now the Rams break the huddle. Wendell Tucker is wide to the right. Jack Snow is the spread receiver to the near side, to the left side. Roman Gabriel faking it on the bootleg. He is going to be hit and dropped for a loss of about 5 yards. Gabriel with an excellent fakery, faked up the middle to running back Larry Smith, put the ball on his hip and dropped back to throw. His other running back, Les Josephson, was running a long pattern, and Gabriel was looking downfield for him, but there was big pressure put on him. Larry Cole, the left defensive end for Dallas, came in to hit him, and Gabriel was thrown for a 5-yard loss. So it'll now be second down and 15 coming up for the Los Angeles Rams. The ball's at the Dallas Cowboy 35-yard line. Tucker is wide to the right. As Gabriel drops back, throws into the flat, he hits Josephson, turns inside the 30. He might take it all the way. Les Josephson goes in for a touchdown. The Dallas Cowboy defense was spun the revolve to the right side, their right side. Gabriel swung Josephson out of the backfield and hit him with a short flare pass, and Josephson just sped down the far sideline for a touchdown. So a 35-yard touchdown pass play results in the first score of the ball game, and the Rams have taken a lead 6-0. Now Gossett is on the field to try the point after. Once Les Josephson got the ball at the 30-yard line, it was a foot race to the end zone. Nobody got a hand on him. Gossett's kick is up and good. Timeout is called on the field with the score. The Los Angeles Rams 7, the Dallas Cowboys nothing.
Special delivery for Mrs. Andy Granatelli.
Oh, thank you. Oh, my, what a terrible cold day to be delivering mail.
Cold? My feet are freezing, but you know the old motto, neither rain nor snow nor...
Oh, my husband ought to use that.
Oh, does he deliver mail too?
No, Andy makes STP oil treatment.
Oh.
But in weather like this, STP oil treatment acts like antifreeze for oil.
Oh, antifreeze for oil?
Uh-huh. STP oil treatment works just like antifreeze for your motor oil.
Mm-hmm.
Helps your car start easier on cold winter mornings because it lubricates better than motor oil alone.
Oh.
STP helps you get fast starts all winter long.
Oh, I see.
You see, neither rain nor snow stops STP either.
Well, your husband sure seems to have solved the problem of starting cold engines, Mrs. Granatelli, but has he done anything for cold feet?
Uh-huh.
Back at the Orange Bowl in Miami, the Los Angeles Rams, after an interception by Richie Pettibone, score after 2 plays from scrimmage. The touchdown coming on a 35-yard pass play from Roman Gabriel to his fine running back Les Josephson, who sped down the sidelines after taking in the flat. And so now the Rams are out in front 7-0. Gossett kicks off for Los Angeles. He drives Calvin Hill 4 yards deep in the end zone. He'll bring it out for the Cowboys. Hill is across the 15. Rube moves straight up the field across the 20, where he is cut down hard. So Dallas will go back on offense now as the Ram defensive unit trots out onto the field. Los Angeles capitalizing on an early break. The interception of Morton by Richie Pettibone. And then the touchdown pass from Gabriel to Josephson. So it is now 1st and 10 for Dallas. They are down in the game 7-0. The clock shows 13 minutes left to play in the first quarter here at the Orange Bowl. This is the National Football League Playoff Bowl. Craig Morton is calling signals. He gives to Calvin Hill on a sweep to the left side. Hill turns the corner, has a block, comes across the 30. And he might have room for a first down, yardage for a first down. We'll see where they spot where he was knocked out of bounds. The pursuit from across the field came primarily from Jim Nettles, who's playing the right side cornerback. There was a gain of 13 yards on the play, so Calvin Hill gets the first down. For the Cowboys, the ball is now out to the 34-yard line. Jack?
Speed of Calvin Hill was demonstrated there as the Cowboys absolutely allowed the right side linebacker a free shot at him. He came right across, moving into the flow of the play, but Hill just circled him and outran him going around the corner.
The lights are on here at the Orange Bowl as Morton hands off again to Hill. Again he goes off his left offensive tackle. Hits out to about the 37-yard line. He got some yardage, not a great deal. He was hit on the play by Coy Bacon, number 79, and Byron Talbert, number 72, who are the right defensive tackle and right defensive end, respectively. The Cowboys huddling inside their 30, trailing in the game 7-0. We're early in the first quarter. Los Angeles on defense. A 2nd and 6 play is now coming up for the Cowboys. Straight ahead, the give is to Walt Garrison. And Garrison moves out to about the 40-yard line. He picked up a couple of yards. It's going to be 3rd and 5. Jim Purnell, who is backing the line on the right side for the Rams, made the tackle. Hardy, Woodleaf, and Purnell, the linebackers for the Rams. Maxie Vaughn will not play in this game. He's injured. This time, Renzel is out wide to the right as Morton drops back on 3rd and 5. He's going long. Bob Hayes is out there, and Hayes makes a spectacular catch at the 30. The ball was short of him. Hayes had the Rams defense beaten, but the pass from Morton was a bit short. Hayes reached back and made a fine catch down around his knees. He was tackled after a gain of 42 yards. The ball is all the way down now to the 28-yard line of the Rams. Jim Nettles was the man who made the tackle on Hayes. Had the ball been thrown a bit longer, Bob Hayes would have been gone because he had 2 steps on the Ram defense and had to slow up and peel back a bit to catch the ball. But it's a big gainer for the Cowboys. They're trailing in the game 7-0. This time, Hayes and Renzel are both out wide to the right. Renzel's out 15 yards. Hayes is deployed as a slot back. Now Dana moves out as a wing to the left side. They're moving to the left side as the give is to Calvin Hill. He fights inside the 25-yard line of Los Angeles, down to the 24-yard line. There was a gain of some 4 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 6 for the Dallas Cowboys. Jack?
The long pass that was completed emphasized the point you were making, Don, about the towering strength of these 2 quarterbacks. Craig Morton was hit as he threw that ball, and while Bob Hayes had to wait a minute, it was still a very long completion.
Cowboys move out of the I formation to give it straight ahead, and Walt Garrison is inside the 15-yard line. Garrison on a draw play moves straight ahead, following some fine offensive blocking from John Nyland, Malcolm Walker, and John Wilbur, who open the way. And Garrison is down inside the 15 to the 12-yard line. It was a gain of 15 yards on the play. It's another first down for the Cowboys. Dallas trailing 7-0 here in the first quarter. Now has it 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line of Los Angeles. Walt Garrison and Calvin Hill are the running backs for Dallas. Dennis Norman, the tight end, is to the left side now. Now Les Shy is in the game as a running back along with Calvin Hill. The give is to Hill. He tries to go up the middle, and he is immediately snowed under by the Los Angeles front 4. As they unpile, Coy Bacon was the man who got him first, number 79. Merlin Olsen also on the tackle. Cowboys trying the same play again, but the Ram defense had a diagnose. So now, after no gain on the first down, it's 2nd and 10 for Dallas. The ball at the 12-yard line of Los Angeles. Renzel is to the left, Hayes to the right. The pitch back is to Calvin Hill. Gets the block, comes inside the 10. He's cut down at the 9-yard line. The 2 defensive tackles for Los Angeles combined on the stop, Coy Bacon and Merlin Olsen. There was a pickup on that play of 3 yards. It'll be 3rd and 7 for Dallas. The ball is close to the hash mark at the left side of the field. 3rd and 7. The ball is just inside the 10-yard line, spotted down at the 9-yard line of Los Angeles. Dallas challenging. Los Angeles leading 7-0 in the first quarter. Morton dropping back on 3rd and 7, looks into the end zone. He fires. It's a touchdown. And Wenzel dropped the ball. Wenzel appeared to have a touchdown for Dallas. He dove in the end zone, had his hands on it. As he hit the turf, the ball popped free. So it is incomplete. It is 4th down coming up for the Cowboys now. And they send their field goal unit out onto the playing field here at the Orange Bowl. Greg Morton with good protection, dropped back 7 yards. He looked into the end zone. Renzel had run a down and out pattern, then cut back across the middle. Morton's throw is a bit long. Renzel dove for it, had his hands on it, but as we mentioned, popped free when he hit the turf. So now we have a 16-yard field goal attempt by Mike Clark. The field goal is wide to the right, no good. Now timeout is called on the field with the score. The Los Angeles Rams 7, the Dallas Cowboys nothing. With Jack Drees back at the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida. The National Football League playoff ball between the Cowboys and the Rams. Dallas, after driving from its own 21-yard line down to the 9-yard line of the Rams in 10 plays, misses the field goal. It was wide to the right off the toe of Mike Clark. On the touchback, the ball comes out to the Los Angeles 20. Rams have it there 1st and 10. Pitch back from Gabriel to Les Josephson, who scored the game's only touchdown. Josephson gets across the 20, sweeping wide to his right, is immediately chopped down on fine pursuit. Middle linebacker Leroy Jordan of the Dallas Cowboys was there to hit him, along with cornerback Cornell Green. Sitting that Cowboy defense across the front, the defensive ends at the left side, 63 Larry Cole, at the right side, 66 George Andre. The tackles are 75 Jethro Pugh and 74 All-Pro Bob Lilly. The linebackers, 52 Dave Edwards at the left side, Leroy Jordan's in the middle, Chuck Howie's at the right side. The give this time is straight up the middle. Carrying the ball for Los Angeles is rookie Larry Smith. He drove straight up the middle, got out for about 2 yards. It is going to be 3rd and 6 coming up now for the Rams, just inside their 25-yard line.
It'll be interesting to see now, Don, if Gabriel will test the cornerback for the Dallas Cowboys. This is a big one, 3rd and 6. Otto Brown playing the right corner is matched against Wendell Tucker.
Tucker and Snow, the wide receivers. Tucker to the left against Brown. Jack Snow to the right, and the pitch is to Jack Snow. He has the ball at the 32. Jack Snow faked to run a fly pattern, got across the 30-yard line, what he needed for the first down, turned in quickly, and Roman Gabriel drilled the ball in for the first down yardage. Cornell Green was there quickly to make the tackle, but there was a pickup of 7 yards, and it's the first down now for the Rams. They have the ball at their 33-yard line. The cornerbacks for the Cowboys, 34 Cornell Green, and rookie Otto Brown is playing at the right side. The safeties are Mike Gector and Mel Renfro. Wendell Tucker is back out to the left side as Los Angeles has it 1st and 10. Snow is split wide to the right. The running backs are Josephson and Smith. Gabriel fakes to Smith. He's looking long. Jack Snow has the defense beaten by a man, and he's trying to go for a touchdown. An excellent fake by running a 5 pattern all the way. Cornell Green was beaten badly. And Jack Snow made the reception as the play ultimately results for a 67-yard gain and a touchdown. So now the Rams have moved out in front 13-0 with 6 minutes and 10 seconds to play in the first quarter. Jack?
The Rams have had the ball for only 6 offensive plays and have scored 2 touchdowns. The Gabriel bomb is working, Don.
Gabriel's thrown 3 times. He has completed 3, 2 for touchdowns. Goss's extra point attempt is good. Now timeout is called on the field with the score: the Los Angeles Rams 14, the Dallas Cowboys nothing.
What a good time. What a good time. What a good time for the cat. Catching sunbeams on dashing raindrops, looking for rainbows high on the hilltop, and suddenly, just splendid in place, the top of the world is like a new place. Where we play.
Hey, can you think of a better time than right now for the good time taste of a Ken cigarette? Millions of Ken smokers will tell you they just don't make them any better tasting. So how about it?
What a good time for a Ken.
With 6 minutes and 10 seconds left to play in the first quarter at the Orange Bowl in Miami, the Los Angeles Rams have gone out in front 14-0 on 2 scoring passes from Roman Gabriel. The first covering 35 yards to Les Josephson. Moments ago, a play covering 67 yards to Jack Snow. Both extra points good by Gossett, and now Gossett kicks off. He drills it 8 yards deep in the end zone. It is out of the end zone for a touchback, and Dallas will put the ball into play for the 3rd time. Rams kicked off to open the game and have kicked off twice since after the scores. Dallas has the ball for the 3rd time at their 20-yard line. So now, Jack, we have a situation where, early as the game is, the Dallas Cowboys are in a position of being forced into catch-up football. I think we'll be looking for Morton to start throwing.
Well, I think so. It looked like in their last series of downs where it wound up with a missed field goal, they were determined to go right at the Los Angeles strength, running their fine running backs from tackle to tackle.
Morton is going to the air on 1st and 10. He is caught and dropped. Jack Pardee, the left side linebacker, busted through on a blitz. He got a hand on Morton and slowed him up. And then Dave Jones, Deacon Jones, came through to finish him off. So there's a substantial loss on the play. The ball is now spotted at the 14-yard line of Dallas. 2nd down and 16 coming up. I don't think there's any question, Jack, the Rams were looking all the way for Morton to put the ball up.
Pardee has a 6th sense on when to shoot. I shouldn't say Pardee as much as the defensive call on the part of the Rams. Pardee, operating at left linebacker, has a pretty good lane going in there. Dallas has not been able to pick him up successfully. The last time they had 2nd and long yardage, Pardee went, but they didn't call the blitz that time. He wound up in the backfield, but he was watching the play run away from him. Now it's 2nd and genuine long yardage again.
2nd and 16, the ball at the 14-yard line of the Cowboys. Renzel is out wide to the left, Hayes split to the right. The backfield is in an I formation. The give is to Walt Garrison, and he is thrown down as he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Hill started in motion. The give was to Garrison straight up the middle, and he was hit by all-pro defensive tackle Merlin Olsen, who got an arm around his neck and just threw him to the ground. There was no gain on the play. It is 3rd and 16 coming up now for Dallas. The ball is at the Cowboy 15-yard line. Renzel and Hayes are both split out to the left. Hayes was slotted. Here is a swing pass out to Calvin Hill. He gets by Jim Purnell, the right side linebacker. And finally, as he crosses the 25 and gets up to the 30-yard line, he is cut down by Jim Nettles, and Calvin Hill on that pass play Ended up with a resultant gain of 16 yards, so it's a first down. A big third down play by the Cowboys. 3rd and 15, they get 16 yards, and the swing pass out to Calvin Hill. Now the Cowboys have it 1st and 10 at their 31-yard line. The score is 14-0 Los Angeles. The Rams have only had the ball from scrimmage for 6 plays. They have scored on 2 long passes, one of 35 yards, one of 67 yards from Roman Gabriel. Here is the give again to Garrison. Again, he weaves his way up the middle. He came across the 35-yard line, got out to the 37. They'll send Calvin Hill in motion to pull a linebacker out. And then Garrison starts straight ahead. Fine block by the center, Malcolm Walker. On middle linebacker, Doug Woodley for the Rams. There's a gain on that play of some 7 yards. It's going to be 2nd and about 3. Jack?
Dallas certainly isn't abandoning an obvious game plan of running at Los Angeles. Even the swing pass to Calvin Hill was simply a substitute for the sweep.
Here's a quick pitch in the flat to Bob Hayes, who is split out wide to the left. Martin hits him. Hayes gets across the 40, gets up and up for a first down. He got out to about the 43-yard line. Jim Nettles and Jim Purnell combined in the stop for Los Angeles. The ball is at the Dallas Cowboy 43-yard line. We're late in the first quarter, 3 minutes and 15 seconds to play in it. Los Angeles is in the lead, 14-0. Morton dropping back on 1st and 10. Deacon Jones with a big rush. Here's the pass, it's complete. And the Dallas Cowboys are now down in the Los Angeles Ram territory. As the strike was to the tight end, Pettis Norman, he has dropped right where he caught the ball at the Ram 41-yard line. Another big gainer for the Cowboys. There was a 14-yard pickup on that play. And the Cowboys have it 1st and 10 at the Los Angeles 41-yard line. The Ram defense giving very deserved attention to the wide receivers of the Cowboys. They're both most dangerous. Renzel, who caught 43 passes this year for Dallas, averaged over 22 yards a catch. Bob Hayes, who caught 40, averaged almost 19 yards per reception. The Cowboys running from a varied offense, this time of a slot back to the right. Here is Frank Morton dropping back, and he is thrown for a loss way back at his 46-yard line. Boy Bacon started to come in, and then Deacon Jones busted in from the left side and grabbed Morton before he could even set up. Kept him out with the speed of Deacon Jones, Jack. 260 pounds, he moves like a back.
And they were a little short of pass protection, sending Calvin Hill out as a wingback to the left on that one. There was not much around to guard Craig Morton. And when that Ram defensive line blasted through, it was almost preordained that someone could get to him. I imagine that the hope was to flip a quick pass, except there was no one to throw it to.
The Dallas Cowboys break the huddle. They have open field to the right. The ball is spotted at the left side hash mark. They are moving from left to right as you look at your radio dial. Calvin Hill goes out in the slot formation to the left side. The lone running back is Garrison. Now Morton throwing on second long yardage. Lance Wenzel inside the 30-yard line of Los Angeles. And the Dallas Cowboys again deliver on the long yardage play to have a first down. A 24-yard gain on the play, coming when they needed 21 for a first down. We now pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the CBS Radio Network.
This is Dan Sorkin, the Answer Man, from 9 to noon with the original Amateur Minute and some other funny stuff on KHFO in San Francisco.
We had some rain here in Miami before the start of today's game. The lights are out at the game is being played in dry conditions. Field in good shape. Here's the pass now going out to Bob Hayes. And again, they hit Hayes on a quickie, and he just sprints his way down inside the 15-yard line. It is ruled that he was knocked out of bounds at about the 13-yard line of Los Angeles. So it's another first down.
Dallas doesn't score here, it's going to get right discouraging for them. This is the second time they have marched through this formidable Rams defense. The last time they got down in this area, they missed a field goal attempt. Here they are again, coming from extremely adverse situations with long yardage plays on key downs to be knocking at the door once more.
56 seconds left to be played in the first quarter. The give is to Calvin Hill running on a counter. He was set back to the right side of his quarterback, Craig Morton, and slanted across the left side, right across the middle. He got inside the 10-yard line of the Rams and down to the 9. So it'll be second down coming up after a pickup of 4 by Calvin Hill, 2nd and 6 for Los Angeles. The Cowboys challenging for the second time in the game. They were down to the 9 once before, were stopped, and on 4th down, a field goal attempt by Mike Clark was wide. Now it is 2nd and 6 at the 9-yard line of Los Angeles. Craig Morton calling signals for Dallas. Wide receivers to either side, and Renzel to the left and Hayes to the right. The give is to Garrison, and Walt Garrison fights his way down to about the 7-yard line. He hit off the right side of his offensive line. Coy Bacon hit him, along with the middle linebacker Doug Woodley. Craig Morton has now hit 6 of 8 pass attempts. And right now, that's the end of the first period. With the score, the Los Angeles Rams 14, the Dallas Cowboys nothing.
Where in Western's world are you going? Let Western jet you there.
Now, Hawaii has joined Western's world. Western Airlines proudly announces the newest, most exciting service to Honolulu from both San Francisco and Oakland. Western calls these flights the Islander. You'll enjoy fabulous food with specially trained stewardesses to serve you. There's nothing else like it in the sky. If Hawaii is calling you, call your travel agent or Western Airlines International. Hawaii is waiting for you, and now Western brings the two of you together.
Where in Western's world are you going? Let Western jet you there, jet you there.
With Jack Reeves, this is Don Crickey back at the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida. It's the National Football League Playoff Bowl here on CBS Radio. The Dallas Cowboys, trailing 14-0, are challenging now for a touchdown. They have a 3rd and 4 play coming up. The ball's at the 7-yard line of the Rams as Craig Morton drops back to throw for Los Angeles. Again, he's hit and dropped. Tyron Albert, the right defensive end, and Deacon Jones, the left end. Pitching in on him, and again, Morton is thrown for a loss. A loss of 8 yards. And so now the Cowboys again find themselves in a 4th down situation, and they have their field goal unit out on the ball field. Mike Clark, who missed earlier in the game in the first quarter from 16 yards out, will be trying now from 22. Malcolm Walker is down over the ball at center. Here is Clark's field goal attempt. Again, he is wide. Timeout is called on the field with the score. The Rams 14, the Cowboys nothing. Cowboys have failed in their second attempt to get points via the field goal. Again, they were wide. And now the Rams take the ball back on a touchback. They have it 1st and 10 at their 20-yard line. Los Angeles is in the lead, 14-0. Gabriel has thrown touchdown passes of 35 yards to Les Josephson, of 67 yards to Jack Snow, both in the first quarter. We're early in the second quarter, the Rams in front 14-0. Roman Gabriel pitches back now to Larry Smith, the rookie running back from Florida, moving wide to his left, comes across the line of scrimmage and dives across the 25-yard line. He got out for a 6-yard gain on the play. Leroy Jordan, the middle linebacker, and Tom Stinsick, a rookie from the... Look at the scoreboard, but Dallas has had the ball for 25 plays from scrimmage, the Rams for but 6. Los Angeles in the lead, 14-0. Roman Gabriel gives off again to Smith. He tries the right side. As he came up to the line of scrimmage, he was hit hard and dropped. Jordan, the middle linebacker, hit him. Mike Gechter coming up from the safety position, also on the stop for Dallas. Ominous, threatening clouds hovering over the Miami area. We had a rather heavy rain, but very briefly before the start of the game. It is not raining now, but threatening to do so at any time. The lights are on here at the Orange Bowl as Gabriel sends Wendell Tucker out wide to the left. Jack Snow is split out 5 yards to the right. The running backs are Josephson and Smith. It is a 3rd and 3 play for Los Angeles to give it to Smith. Following the pulling guards, he comes across the 30. He gets the first down. Larry Smith carries for 6 yards and a first down for the Rams. Jack?
It may be that Los Angeles is off on an extended series of plays. They haven't taken much time to score the previous 2 times they had the ball, but on the sideline, you see a change may be in the offing. Roger Staubach is warming up, second-string quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas has 8 first down. The Rams have only 2. But the score is the thing, and the Rams have that. 14-0. They have it 1st and 10 now. The give is straight up the middle. Larry Smith gets the call, and he is thrown back after getting a couple of yards. We'll see where they spot his forward progress. Referee Fred Swearingen puts the ball down at the 35-yard line. Rest of the officials for today's game, and in addition to referee Fred Swearingen, the umpires Frank Sinkovich, the head linesman is Tom Hensley, the line judge Art Holtz, the backfield judge Ray Douglas, and the field judge Frank Luzar. It is 2nd and 8 for Los Angeles. The ball is at the Ram 35-yard line. Dallas Cowboys trailing 14-0 here in the second quarter. Gabriel fires quickly out to Jack Snow. He's across the 40 and moves out close to the Ram 45-yard line. He has another first down for Los Angeles on a gain of 9 yards. Jack Reeves.
And that time they set Jack Snow to the left to go against the rookie Otto Brown, the right cornerback for the Cowboys. And Otto Brown wondered where Snow went after he caught that ball. He left him scrambling in thin air in the turf behind him.
So far, Jack Snow has 3 receptions for 83 yards. The big one covered 67 yards. Good for a touchdown. Here is the give on a 1st and 10 play. Gabriel handing off to Les Josephson. He looks for running room up the middle, doesn't find it. The hole closes quickly, and Josephson is dropped right at the line of scrimmage, the Ram 45. It'll be 2nd and 10 there for Los Angeles. As Jack pointed out, Roger Staubach is warming up just below our broadcast location for the Cowboys. Morton was intercepted early in the game, and the Rams shortly thereafter had a touchdown, 2 plays later. 2nd and 10 for Los Angeles. Roman Gabriel with a long count. Wendell Tucker is wide to the left, Jack Snow to the right. The pitch back is to the right side. It goes to Larry Smith. He tries to turn the corner and find defensive pursuit by the Dallas Cowboys. Cuts him down right at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd and 10. Larry Cole, a second-year defensive end from the University of Hawaii, was on the tackle. So the ball remains right at the Los Angeles 45-yard line. We have 10 minutes and 20 seconds left to play in the first half. The clock is running here at the Orange Bowl. The Los Angeles Rams wearing white uniforms with blue numerals. The Dallas Cowboys in blue jerseys, silver helmets, silver pants. Rams break the huddle. 3rd and 10 for Gabriel. He should be throwing. Dropping back now. He looks low and the rush is on. Gabriel triggers his throw and wisely fires it short of the intended receiver, Larry Smith, who was double covered, swinging out of the backfield. And so now, for the first time in the game, the Los Angeles Rams will punt. In fact, this is the first punt of the game. Dropping back as twin safeties for the Dallas Cowboys are Mel Renfro and Bob Hayes. Pat Studstill does the punting for Los Angeles. Averaged just over 40 yards during regular season play. 40.3 yards per punt attempt by Studstill. He is standing back at his 30-yard line. Should hit the ball somewhere around the 34. Ken Hyman is down over the ball at center for Los Angeles. Fires a perfect snap back. Studstill's punt is a beauty. A high spiral carries inside the Dallas 10. The ball takes a hop up in the air, and it is down on the 3-yard line by Willie Ellison. So Pat Studstill did everything he could ask of a punter. He got off a 53-yarder. It bounced on the 5-yard line of Dallas. The Cowboys thought it would go into the end zone for a touchback. It did not. It went up in the air and was down. And it's now 1st and 10. Right now, timeout is called on the field with the score, the Rams 14, the Cowboys nothing.
Taking it pretty hard, isn't he? Happens every time he takes a weekend off.
When you're looking for someone to look after you, look out to 76.
With 9 minutes and 44 seconds left to play in the first half, at the playoff bowl in Miami, the Dallas Cowboys find themselves back to New Orleans. They have the ball 1st and 10, and Roger Staubach is now in at quarterback. Former Heisman Trophy winner from the Naval Academy gives off straight ahead to Calvin Hill. He is out across the 5-yard line, buffed it out to about the 8 for a pickup of 5. It will be 2nd and 5 for Dallas. The Rams are in the lead 14-0. And now, Jack Drees, that rain that was threatening is a reality.
It's making things just a little tougher for the debut in this game with Staubach. He starts out on his own 3-yard line, and now the ball's going to get a little slippery on him. Staubach is an interesting quarterback. He was gone for quite a spell in the Navy after he finished at the academy and had to serve out his tour of duty as a naval officer. And then suddenly found himself being force-fed as an NFL quarterback when, after the Cowboys had traded Jerry Rome to Cleveland, Don Meredith made the surprise announcement of his retirement, and suddenly Roger Staubach was the only one behind Craig Morton. And I must say that with that long service lapse, Staubach has come back and played extremely well. He did have the advantage of being able to get to training camp with the Cowboys while he was in the service, and he did have the advantage of playing with Pensacola Naval Air Station to the extent that competition kept him in shape.
Jack, a player is down on the field for the Dallas Cowboys. I believe it is Calvin Hill. He's being administered to now. We can't make out the number as he is surrounded by 3 or 4 people from Dallas, and it is Calvin Hill. Hill is limping off the field, but he's coming off under his own steam, and apparently he's all right. I believe he was winded on the play. He's the leading ground gainer in the ball game. He's picked up 36 yards and 8 carries. And that last one he carried straight ahead and was hit very hard. It appeared that when he first went down, he might have had a knee injury, but now they have his right shoe off, and apparently he turned an ankle. But he's coming off under his own steam, so Calvin Hill appears to be all right. Now the Cowboys break the huddle. They have the ball at their 9-yard line. They have 2nd and just over 4 to go for the first down. They're aligned in the I formation in the offensive backfield with 2 wide receivers to the right side. The give is to Dan Reeves, who is now in the running back position. Staubach handing off to Reeves. He tried to hit off the right side of the Ram defense and was stopped for no gain. It'll be 3rd and 4. Les Shy now comes onto the playing field for Dallas as Cowboy coach Tom Landry is substituting heavily. Shy comes in replacing Walt Garrison. We have 8 minutes and 55 seconds left to play in the first half here at the National Football League playoff bowl in Miami. The Los Angeles Rams on defense have a 14-0 lead. They scored twice in the first quarter on touchdown passes from their great quarterback, Roman Gabriel. The Dallas Cowboys with 3rd and 4 coming up. Staubach on a draw play. It's going to get nothing but perhaps a loss of 2 yards. Staubach in an obvious passing situation, 3rd and 4. Drop back. He gave straight ahead. And Don Shy was hit at the line of scrimmage and dropped. So it's now going to be 4th down coming up for the Cowboys, and they'll have to punt. Ron Whitby is their punter, and a good one. He is from Tennessee. Big, tall, former basketball player, stands 6'4", has tremendous whip in his leg, averaged over 43 yards a punt attempt during the regular season for the Cowboys. Back as twin safeties for Los Angeles are Ron Smith and Alvin Heyman. They're standing at their 45. A fine punt by Whitby. It drives Heyman back inside his 40. He takes it to the Ram 37. Starts upfield, gets across the 45 out to the 47-yard line. And with 7 minutes and 47 seconds left to play in the first half, the Rams will have the ball 1st and 10 at their 47-yard line. That was a 54-yard punt from the line of scrimmage by Ron Whitby of the Dallas Cowboys. And now with rain falling here in Miami, new footballs are being shuttled in and out between plays. Roman Gabriel brings the Rams out of the huddle. He has Jack Snow as a wide receiver to the left. Wendell Tucker is split to the right. Running backs are Josephson and Smith. 1st and 10 for Los Angeles. The give is to Josephson on a halfback option. He's throwing long. Wendell Tucker is out there to do a touchdown. Otto Brown comes over and picks it off for Dallas. He got the ball of his 30, got it back out to the Dallas 40, so the Cowboys are right back in possession. And rookie Otto Brown, Jack, has the big play.
Certainly has, and if ever you saw that wobbling duck pass, it was that one thrown by Josephson. He never seemed to get control of the football, and he put it high in the air, hung it up there. It had virtually no spiral on it, just flopping around in the air, and it was quite a bit off target. And Otto Brown had a lot of time to gallop over and get under it.
That was almost a coin flip as to who was going to intercept. The ball was sitting up there, and Dallas was converging on it. Otto Brown got there first. Here is Staubach firing a pass over the middle. It is hit by Coy Bacon. The ball fluttered into the air and seemed to hang up there for 5 seconds, but nobody could get to it. Roger Staubach has a howitzer out. He can really throw a football, and that time he tried to drill one right over the middle. And Coy Bacon got an arm on the ball. So it goes as an incomplete pass. The line of scrimmage is the Dallas 39, and it'll be 2nd and 10 for Dallas at their 39-yard line. Rookie Roger Rucker is now in the game for Dallas. He is split out wide to the right as a wide receiver. Dennis Holman, his 2nd year from Alabama, is the wide receiver to the near side. Staubach dropping back to pass is rushed heavily by Los Angeles. He lunges ahead back to the line of scrimmage. Might have gotten a yard. It'll be 3rd and 9 at the Dallas 40. The rain is starting to come down heavily now here in Miami, with the Rams leading the National Football League playoff ball 14-0 over Dallas. We have 6 minutes and 48 seconds left to play in the first half. The clock is running. Dallas breaks the huddle with the offensive interior line. Tony Liscio and Ralph Neely at the tackles. John Nyland and John Wilbur are the guards. Malcolm Walker is down on the ball at center. Roger Staubach swings the pass out to Walt Garrison. He's across the 40. Garrison has running room. Calvin Peters to conduct to midfield and is finally thrown down at the 48-yard line of Los Angeles. There was a gain of 12 yards on the play. It's a 1st down for Dallas. Garrison has probably been the most dangerous offensive threat for the Cowboys in this game, Jack. He has run well up the middle, and that play demonstrates tremendous agility and quickness. He took the swing pass in the flat and wove his way upfield, coming across the 50-yard line for a pickup of 12. It is now 1st and 10 for Dallas at the 48-yard line of Los Angeles. This time the give is to Dan Reeves. He is hit, fumbles the ball. It is field and picked up by Pardee. He fumbles the ball. Now the Cowboys have it back, and Roger Staubach runs inside the 40-yard line of Los Angeles. So the ball changed hands in the space of a split second. Dallas fumbling straight ahead. Jack Pardee, the left side linebacker for the Rams, picked the ball up, started upfield, was hit, lost the ball, and Roger Staubach, and then who the play originated with, the Dallas quarterback, picked it up and gets some sizable yardage. He rushed for a 1st down.
He'd have had the 1st down anyway because the ball had changed possession, but he did get enough yardage to ensure it.
So now Dallas gets a break on quick turnover by either side on the same play. Here's a pitch back to Reeves. He starts to move out wide to his right, then cuts back and goes straight ahead, dives down to the 35-yard line of Los Angeles for a pickup of 2. It'll be 2nd and 8 for the Cowboys. The clock is running as the rain falls here at the Orange Bowl in Miami. 4 minutes and 35 seconds to play in the first half. Los Angeles is in the lead, 14-0. They scored twice in the first quarter on touchdown passes from Roman Gabriel. He hit Les Josephson on a 35-yarder. He hit Jack Snow on a play covering 67 yards. Driving rain falling as Staubach brings the Cowboys out of the huddle. 2nd and 8. Staubach drops back, looks long, fires in the flat. It is intercepted by Jim Purnell, the right side linebacker for Los Angeles. The intended receiver was Dennis Holman. Jim Purnell dropping back nicely. Linebacker on pass coverage, left into the air, intercepted the ball. And now time has been called on the field with the score: the Rams 14, the Cowboys nothing. This is Don Crickey with Jack Dries back at the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida. We have 4 minutes and 4 seconds left to play in this National Football League Playoff Bowl, the 10th annual Playoff Bowl, this year between the Rams of Los Angeles and the Cowboys of Dallas. The Rams have just gotten back the football on an interception by linebacker Jim Purnell. They break the huddle, have it 1st and 10 at their 19-yard line. The give is up the middle to Les Josephson. He is hit by Ron East and then finished off by Bob Lilly. There was a loss on the play. Rams are in the lead 14-0 as they now are apparently going to run the clock. 3:45 left to play. Still a substantial amount of time for a pro team to drive downfield. Los Angeles scoring on the big pass plays early in the game. This time the Rams break the huddle. 2nd and 11 coming up from their 18-yard line. Wendell Tucker is out wide to the left for Los Angeles. Jack Snow is the wide receiver to the near side, to the right side. Roman Gabriel dropping back. Flares a pass out to Les Josephson. He puffs across the 25 out to the 26. Where no less than 5 Dallas Cowboys converge on him and bring him down. Linebacker Dave Edwards was there, along with cornerback Otto Brown. Bill Clark in the defensive secondary of the Dallas Cowboys was also in on the stop. There was a gain of 8 yards in the play. It's going to be 3rd down and just over 3 now for Los Angeles. The ball is out to the 26-yard line of the Rams. They work from a pretty basic set. Wide receivers to either side in the open backfield. This time the pitch from Gabriel is out to the right side and caught by Jack Snow for a 1st down at the 35-yard line of Los Angeles. Jack Snow and Roman Gabriel combining on a play that gained 9 yards and gains a 1st down for the Rams. So far in this game, Snow has caught 4 passes for 92 yards. Snow is faking the long pattern, it appears, Jack, and then he's turning out quickly when he goes against Otto Brown. The last play he was against Cornell Green, who is playing the left side cornerback. Again, Snow comes out to the right side against Green. Wendell Tucker's out to the left side as a wide receiver for Los Angeles against rookie Otto Brown. Slotted to the right side now is Larry Smith. The pitch back goes to Josephson, a crackback block coming from Wendell Tucker. But it's not enough as Josephson tries to turn the corner, rounding his left end. He is thrown down at the line of scrimmage, the 35-yard line. Gabriel has thrown 7 times in this game. He has completed 6 for 2 touchdowns. Jack?
Down on the bench, Calvin Hill, it looks like, has been able to get that shoe back on his right foot and may be available for action.
Hill twisted an ankle carrying the ball earlier in the game. Was on the field quite some time being administered to, but walked off under his own power. Now timeout is called on the playing field with the score. The Rams 14 and the Cowboys nothing. We now have 2 minutes to play in the first half. The Rams have 2nd down coming up. There was no gain on the last play. 2nd and 10 from their 35-yard line. Los Angeles leads the Dallas Cowboys 14-0. Roman Gabriel brings the Rams out of the huddle. He pitches back to Les Josephson, who loses the football. It's a free ball, and Dallas appears to have it. The ball was knocked out of bounds. It is ruled Dallas did not have possession. A Cowboy was the last man to touch it before it went out. And in order to have it ruled a recovered fumble, the ball has to be ruled in the player's possession. It was not. There is a loss on the play for Los Angeles. The ball is back now to about the 26-yard line. So the Rams will have 3rd and 18 coming up with 1:40 to play in the first half.
Cowboys were blitzing on that one and couldn't have picked a better defense for that type of play. They had half their lineup in the Rams' backfield.
Josephson no more than got the pitch back that he was hit and lost the ball. 3rd and 18 for Los Angeles, ball at the Ram 27. Roman Gabriel gives to Larry Smith, follows the pulling guard, Mack. And he comes across the 30-yard line, a good block by Tom Mack. Gets him out to the 32-yard line. Now the Rams will have to punt. 4th down coming up. The clock shows 1:29 to play. It's running. We're in the second quarter. Los Angeles is in the lead, 14-0. Twin safeties now dropping back for the Dallas Cowboys. Mel Renfro wears number 20 and Bob Hayes, number 22. Go back there standing at their 35-yard line. Dallas has moved the ball well against Los Angeles. But when they've gotten down close enough to challenge, they've been unable to put it in. Twice they've had to settle for field goal attempts, and twice those field goal attempts have been wide. They've not scored in the game. It's 14-0 Los Angeles. Studstill is on the field to punt for the Rams. Standing at a 16. Hits the ball at the 20. It's a low kick. It might have been partially deflected. There's a penalty marker down. The kick carries all the way down inside the 5-yard line, and it's down again at the 3. But there is a penalty marker down, and we might have a roughing the kicker penalty, Jack.
That's what it was. They were putting on a determined rush to try and block that kick, or at least to cause the punt to be hurried so that it could not be kicked away from Bob Hayes. Hayes was the man they'd like to have had catch that punt and run it back. But the rush carried on through and into the kicker, and since the ball was not touched, it's a roughing the kicker penalty, which gives the ball back to the Rams now at their own 38-yard line and a new series of downs.
And we now pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the CBS Radio Network.
KSF 4560 San Francisco.
Back to live action now with 40 seconds left to play in the first half here at the Orange Bowl in Miami. Roman Gabriel looks to the air. He's dropping back. The rush is on. Triggers a pass out of the flat to Wendell Tucker. Diminutive Wendell Tucker, 5'10", 178 pounds, left high in the air. Mel Renfro is defending. And the ball went over both their outstretched arms, so it is now 2nd down coming up. 2nd and 10 with time. The most important element at the moment, 33 seconds left to play in the first half. The Rams are in the lead 14-0. A light rain is now falling with the lights on at the Orange Bowl in Miami. Los Angeles dressed in white, breaks the huddle with wide receivers to either side. Gabriel gives straight up the middle. Les Josephson carries the ball. He comes across the 40 and out to the Los Angeles 45-yard line as the clock continues to run with 23 seconds to show. In the first half, an 8-yard gain in the play, and now a timeout is signaled for by Los Angeles. A pass here, Jack, could conceivably get them in field goal range.
Well, certainly they are showing great respect for the Dallas offense, which has moved successfully against them, even though thus far the Cowboys have been shut out. They'd like to get something on that scoreboard beyond their 14 points before this half ends, because they know that Dallas can be just as explosive as the Rams have been. And the Rams, after those 2 quick thrusts, have not been able to move too well against this very highly regarded Dallas Cowboy defense. The 2 touchdowns were recorded for the Los Angeles Rams. These teams have played the other to a standstill. Roger Staubach has come in to see if he could change the fortunes of the Dallas Cowboys at quarterback, but he was immediately a victim of misfortune. He came in to put the ball in play from his own 3 for openers and then lost Calvin Hill.
With 19 seconds to play in the first half, the Rams have the ball. They have 3rd and 2 coming up. Gabriel's dropping back, looking long. He triggers a pass over the middle. A perfect shot. Right to running back Larry Smith, but he couldn't hold the football. Smith tried to turn upfield just as the ball was arriving. It goes as an incomplete pass. So now it'll be 4th and 2, and the Rams send their punter, Pat Studstill, out onto the field. That punt a short time ago that was negated by the penalty by Studstill carried 67 yards. not go down as an official statistic, as the ball was brought back on a roughing the kicker penalty, and the Rams had a first down. Now, once again, Renfro and Hayes brought back as twin safeties for Dallas. Studstill hits the ball at his 35. It's a short kick. Hits it about the 26-yard line of Dallas. Rolls out of bounds, and the Cowboys will have the ball, but with very little time to do anything with it. 6 seconds left to play in the half. Greg Morton started the game at quarterback. He threw 8 times while he was in there. He completed 6. Roger Staubach is now directing the Cowboy offense. Los Angeles in the lead, 14-0. Their all-league quarterback, Roman Gabriel, hitting on 2 first-quarter touchdown passes. One to Les Josephson for 35 yards in the score, the other to Jack Snow for a touchdown play covering 67 yards. In motion to the near side, to the left side goes Dan Reeves. The Cowboys content to run the clock out. There is the gun. And as the gun sounds, ending the first half with the score, the Los Angeles Rams 14, the Dallas Cowboys nothing. Hard did very little for his first several years in the league. Darryl LaMonica was a backup quarterback in Buffalo for 4 years. And now he is the premier quarterback in the American Football League, at least this year, having been named as most valuable player. If there's any one position that's almost impossible to learn, you can see wide receivers come in and make it big right away with great natural assets, physical assets. There's just too much to playing quarterback to come in and do it overnight.
Paul Brown certainly represents an interesting case with beginning quarterbacks. He made an instant star out of Otto Graham, too, when they first went into business together, so to speak, in the old All-American Conference, the predecessor of the American Football League, which tried and failed after 4 years of effort just after World War II. But the one great difference in that attempt to form another football league was that they did not come in, as did the AFL, with any compunctions about raiding the established National Football League. They peopled their teams with NFL veterans of that time, and so Otto Graham came in with a great test. And speaking of those Cleveland Browns, Don, they have a chance to really carve out an interesting footnote to whatever history is one day written about professional football. The first league they ever played in was the All-American Conference, and they won that. Then when they came into the National Football League, their first year in the NFL, they won that. Now they have a chance to finish up their last year in the NFL by winning it, going out, so to speak, as they play in the championship game against the Minnesota Vikings tomorrow. This NFL playoff poll is being carried across the nation by the CBS Radio Network and to our men in uniform around the world by Armed Forces Radio Service. We hope we are getting all of the servicemen wherever they are, Europe, the Middle East, and Asia, around the many precincts in which they're established in this globe of ours. And this weekend of football will make the time remaining for each of them seem a little shorter and go a little bit faster. Teams is almost identical. 2 yards separate them. Dallas leads with 158 yards in total offense. Los Angeles had 156. The passing yardage was the big difference, but the Los Angeles Rams are recording 132 yards via passing to 83 for Dallas. Dallas rang up 75 yards running the ball. Dallas Cowboys had gone out of the game in the second quarter with a shoe off his right foot and limping upon it. In the time in which he was in, he carried the ball 8 times for 36 yards. Garrison for Dallas carried the ball 6 times for 35 yards. Larry Smith ran 7 times for the Los Angeles Rams for a total of 24 yards. Les Josephson carried it 6 times and was unable to make a yard. Now we're ready to start the third quarter of play. We pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the CBS Radio Network.
Hi, this is Terry McGovern, and I'm on the radio every morning from 6 to 9 with voices and records and little warm, furry things and plenty to eat and drink. So why don't you come by? KSFO in San Francisco.
With Don Cricky as we move into the second half. And this time the Dallas Cowboys will be kicking off to the Los Angeles Rams. And we have Ron Smith and Alvin Heyman deep for Los Angeles. Mike Clark getting ready to kick off. Ball not yet put on its kicking teeth. Both teams are deployed and ready to go when the proper moment comes to set that ball on the tee and get this action underway. The score is 14-0. The Los Angeles Rams in front. They scored with relative ease the first two times they had the ball in the first quarter. From that moment on, it's been a tough contest with the defensive units of each team, and both of them are famed for their defense, rising to the foreground as play moved along. Now the Rams have broken. There are some presentations being made to the youngsters in pregame punt, pass, and kick competition. And we have 2 to go down there, and I presume when that occurs, we'll be ready to put the ball into play. Jack, one of those boys who was just presented an award, I believe he must be the 12-year-old division, standing next to Willie Davis, the great Green Bay Packer defensive end who just retired. He's as tall as Willie Davis, not a whole lot lighter. And now the ball is teed up. We're ready to go into the third quarter of play. Dallas kicking off to Los Angeles. And it is taken by Ron Smith. He gets out across the 25, is caught just beyond the 30 and thrown back, but his forward progress is stopped at the 31. And it'll be 1st and 10 for the Los Angeles Rams at that point. A head-on tackle on that play by Hal Verhagen, a rookie from Weber State, Jack, actually for Smith to cough up the ball that the Rams fell on, so they maintained possession. All right at the 30-yard line is where it is eventually spotted. And now Wendell Tucker goes out wide to the right. Jack Snow is wide to the left, and the wingback is set to the left side. Larry Smith is that wingback. Josephson in the deep running back. Gabriel going back to pass on first down. Can't find anybody. Is rushed, and as he is engulfed by Dallas defenders, he fires the ball toward the sidelines, and the penalty marker is thrown down. And this one looks like an intentional grounding call will be made against Roman Gabriel. That'll not only cost him yardage, but loss of down as well. And that is going to be the assessment as they mark off distance down back to the 15-yard line of Los Angeles. Gabriel was engulfed by 4 Dallas Cowboys. The front 4 got a tremendous rush, as did the right side linebacker, Chuck Howley, was coming through. Gabriel, so strong, stood in there against the rush and then triggered a throw at the last minute when he saw he couldn't get it away to a free receiver, and it was adjudged to be grounding the ball. So to 2nd down and 25 yards to go, and the line of scrimmage is Los Angeles' own 15-yard line. Gabriel rolling out to the right as the rush piles up on him again. And once again, he's hemmed in. He gets away from 2, gets away from 3, but can't get away from George Hendry. Boy, he had company back there trying to gallop loose along the 10-yard line. He was finally able to clear and get up to the 12. Finds a loss for another 3. It'll make a 3rd down and 28 yards to go. And you suppose the Dallas Cowboys had a little pep talk? Something's happened to him because they're certainly getting the jump off the ball. They're really moving off the ball quickly, but you have to admire, Jack, the physical strength of Roman Gabriel. He was described once by Carl Kemmerer, the defensive end with Washington, as a defensive tackle who can throw the football. And that time, as you pointed out, he was hit 3 different times before he was finally dropped. Willie Ellison has come in to replace Larry Smith, who limped slightly as he went off the field. The ball is given to Les Josephson, and Josephson, shooting to the right side, takes it out to the 17-yard line, and that will run Los Angeles out of bounds. A long way to go. Larry Cole, coming in from left end, made the tackle for Dallas. Oh, with 4th down, the Rams will have to punt. The line of scrimmage will be their own 17. Hayes and Renfro are going back deep for the Dallas Cowboys. Pat Studstill in to do the putting for Los Angeles. The score at 14-0 in favor of the Rams over Dallas. The long snap from center is a good one. Studstill rides into the ball. And it's a fair catch signal given by Mel Renfro on his own 41, and that's where Dallas will put the ball in play. Well, certainly that Dallas defense came out to an inspired performance. A 42-yard punt is now giving the ball to the Cowboys, and we'll see what the offense can do. Craig Morton is back in at quarterback. Calvin Hill has not come in as a running back. Dan Reeves is in there, teaming up with Walt Garrison. They go out of the I formation with Garrison taking the handoff, and Garrison, just going to the left to center, is able to edge his way out to the 45-yard line, where he was hit by Deacon Jones, left end for the Rams. And so that'll be a gain of 4 yards on the play and make it 2nd down and 6 from the 45.
Jack, you know, one of the remarkable things about Deacon Jones is his tremendous speed. We talked about it earlier, but he is so strong and so fast, they seldom come at him, and so thus most of his tackles are made laterally, and he made that one then.
Dan Reeves takes this handoff, is tripped up right at the line of scrimmage. Jim Purnell made the eventual tackle, but reaching out a long paw was the right tackle, Coy Bacon, number 79. He got a hand around his ankle and was the instrumental player in stopping the play. It puts the ball out to the 48, and it will make it 3rd down and 3 yards to go with a 3-yard gain on that one. We've just begun the 3rd quarter of play. The Rams are leading 14-0. That's been the score since early in the 1st quarter. 3rd and 3. Craig Morton back to pass. And the ball is scooped out of the hand of Craig Morton by Deacon Jones. He came dashing across there, and Craig Morton cocked his arm to throw. Deacon reached up and pulled the ball out of his hand and got it for the Los Angeles Rams. So the Rams have it 1st and 10, just 37 yards away from the Cowboy goal line.
Not only did Deacon free the ball, but he was so quick, as soon as it hit the turf, he scooped it up with his other hand. So now Los Angeles is in possession. Great play by Jones, and all-pro.
Well, let's see if Roman Gabriel goes for the quick strike after that turnover. He's 37 yards away from the goal line. He's going to run on the first shot. He gives it to Larry Smith, who was back in the backfield after limping off a few plays earlier and seemingly all right as he ran on that one. Off to the left and getting down inside the 35. Not too strong a gain. Leroy Jordan and Larry Cole combining on the stop, and it'll be 2nd down and 8 with a 2-yard pickup. Make it 2nd down and 7 as the ball is spotted at the 34. 3 yards on the play. Jack Snow is coming out wide to the left. Wendell Tucker is going out to the right side. Bill Truax, the tight end, is set to the right. Gabriel back to throw. And setting up the screen, he gives to Josephson. But the Cowboys, alert to the screen, busted through it. And Josephson was unable to get back to the line of scrimmage. He is grounded at the 35. It was Dave Edwards, the left side linebacker, and the left end Larry Cole, who combined to bring him down. A loss of a yard on an attempted screen pass will make it 3rd and 8.
Jack, you look at the Los Angeles Rams, the way they align and execute defensively, they're much like the Packers. Very, very basic. Very seldom anything different than the basic pro set. This time they're coming out of the slot back to the right. They do it with execution.
3rd and long yardage for Roman Gabriel. Back to throw. And as the rush develops, there was not a blitz. The front 4 rushing, and they were getting through. Gabriel tried to run it. Could get back only to the 38 for a loss of 3. Bob Lilly, the right tackle, brought him down for the Cowboys.
And we can see why Bob Lilly is everybody's choice for all-pro. He just sprinted right after Gabriel and hauled him under. It looked like Gabriel was going to be waiting for a big gainer.
Jethro Pugh, left tackle for the Dallas Cowboys, just limped off the field. And now we're going to have a field goal attempt of some distance. Bruce Gossett will try one from 45 yards. It's dropping short. Renfro has it on the 5-yard line for Dallas. He is running along the 8 now, trying to get loose and get upfield. He finally is able to turn upfield and get out across the 15-yard line to be grounded at the 17, where the Cowboys will put it in play 1st and 10.
Return, of course, professional teams have an aligned run-back return plan. They usually set up a channel of blockers. On that last play, of course, it was a field goal attempt that was short, and Renfro really wasn't sure just which way to go because the Rams were coming downfield with good coverage under it, And there was no channel of blockers to follow, so he was pretty much just waiting for the inevitable, which came. Ball was first and 10 at the 15.
Unlike a punt, too, he couldn't afford to let it bounce because it has backspin on it, was dropping almost straight down as it was a short attempt. And the chances were excellent. If he'd let it go, it had stayed right along that 5-yard line. If not, rolled to a halt inside it. So the Cowboys now put the ball in play, first and 10, just across the 15 on the 16-yard line. The score remaining at 14-0 in favor of the Los Angeles Rams, and now we have a little less than 9.5 minutes to play in the third quarter of the game. Craig Morton, the quarterback. Dan Reeves and Walt Garrison have been the running backs. Calvin Hill, injured with a foot injury in the first half, has not returned, and looking down along the sidelines, I don't see him on the bench either. He had stayed on the bench through the first half. Looked like at one point he was able to get a shoe on. But now the ball is back in play. A quick flip out to the left flat. And Hayes, who made the catch, is giving ground now, getting all the way back to his own 2-yard line. He's running along the 1. The Rams trying to hem him in, and he's like a water bug down there. Breaks out now to cross the 15, get to the 20, and be grounded on the 21. Ed Metter and Doug Woodley finally caught up with him.
Jack, we have a penalty marker down, and so often when we have a play moving counter to the flow of the offensive line, cutting back, you get the crackback block, and oftentimes one is not thrown legally. You get very often a clipping penalty, but the marker down, that might be the case.
Timeout is called on the field with the score Los Angeles 14 and Dallas nothing. A clipping penalty has moved the ball back to the 7-yard line, where it'll be still first down, but with 19 yards to go. Dan Reeves was injured on that play and has left the game. And Les Shy has come in to replace him in the backfield. So Walt Garrison and Les Shy will be the running backs now for the Dallas Cowboys. And a timeout is charged to Dallas on the injured players, so that gives them 2 left here in the second half. And those times out may become important to this ball club as we near the end of the second half. At the moment, we've got a little better than 9 minutes to play in the third quarter. First and 19 on their own 7. And Morton is back, throwing long to Hayes, a little too long. Hayes was closely covered by Jim Mills. And Craig Morton, who's got some kind of arm, let that ball go over the head of both of them, going far down the field. It dropped down just the 50-yard line, and he was throwing from the end zone. And so it's an incomplete pass to make it second and 19.
Jack, from our vantage point, that pass went 60 yards in the air, and Morton put it out there a little more than a flick of his forearm. What a tremendous arm he has. He was 5 yards, dropped 5 yards deep in the end zone. The ball hit down the 45-yard line of Los Angeles.
Shy. Walt Garrison, the running backs, are in an I formation behind Craig Morton. They shift out of it now into a normal running back set. Les Shy starts in motion out to the right side. Very busy backfield before the snap. The handoff goes to Garrison, and Garrison, popping straight ahead, is able to move out across the 15 to the 16-yard line, where Nate Shaw brought him down for the Los Angeles Rams.
Garrison reminds you a little bit of the man that preceded him in the offensive backfield with Dallas. They played together for some years. That's Don Perkins. Not that big. Garrison weighs 205 pounds, but he has tremendous quickness and very explosive. Great acceleration.
Now third and 10 as they finally worked it back to the original line of scrimmage. Pass to Garrison, incomplete. A big rush on, led by Deacon Jones, who got to Craig Morton just as he was about to release the ball. It was an off-target throw because of that contact, and it's incomplete, and will run Dallas out of downs. They'll have to punt with the line of scrimmage their own 16-yard line.
The consistent pressure that Deacon Jones is putting on the Dallas quarterbacks is all the more impressive when you consider he's playing opposite an all-pro tackle, Ralph Neely, the right offensive tackle for the Cowboys. Now we have a punt coming up.
Ron Whitby puts one up in the air. And waiting for it is Alvin Heyman. Heyman is able to get that ball just short of his own 45 and get it across the midfield stripe. He's grounded on the Cowboy 49, where it'll be 1st and 10 for Los Angeles, 42 yards on the punt. And the Los Angeles Rams take it in good field position. They're 49 yards away from the goal line. 8 minutes and 2 seconds to go in the third quarter of this game, and Los Angeles in front 14-0. Roman Gabriel dropping back to throw. Penalty marker goes in. Gabriel swings to the outside as the rush develops and is able to take it down to the 41-yard line. Leroy Jordan making the tackle on him over there. Larry Cole was storming through into the backfield, and he was the one that got past the blocker and forced Gabriel out of the pocket and into the run. But a penalty marker came down, and it looks like it'll be a holding penalty against Los Angeles, because the blocking attempt on Larry Cole when it was slipping off saw the blocker clutch at it, and it's going to cost the Rams 15. And that penalty will be marked off from the spot of the foul, which was well behind the line of scrimmage. So that puts the ball clear back on the 27-yard line.
Cowboys generate a tremendous rush, as do the Rams, just with their front four. Having a front four like that gives a great deal of assistance to the defensive backfield, for the most part, on a passing situation. Both of these teams are in a 7-man pass defense because the linebackers can afford to drop back and cover. The rush is so good from the front four.
So now it's first down still, but with 34 yards to go. Gabriel goes for the air, the rush develops again, and he flings a little spot pass out to the right that was well short of the mark. The crowd here is grumbling a bit that there should have been another intentional grounding. Bill Clark coming through on a halfback blitz with Bob Lilly storming through from the tackle position on the line, combined to destroy that play before Roman Gabriel could find the target.
I'd be interested to know, Jack, if they fed Bob Lilly something at halftime. He's coming off the ball like a cannon shot.
Second down now with 34 yards to go. The ball at the 27-yard line. Wendell Tucker coming out wide to the left. Jack Snow is out to the right side. Gabriel gives the ball to Les Josephson on a draw play. Josephson trying to crossbuck on the draw to take advantage of the trap on the right side of the Rams line. Was able to get out only to the 30-yard line. Leroy Jordan, who saw it coming, and Ron East, defensive tackle for the Cowboys, combined to make the stop. And so, on an obvious passing situation where the draw has its best opportunity of working, it was held to a 3-yard gain, and it's third down, 31 yards to go from the 30-yard line. Now the team is set. Gabriel looks over that defense as he goes through his chant of signals. Fades back. Gets protection this time, throws the screen. Larry Smith has it, but coming in behind the screen is Chuck Howley. And he was able to hold that play to a gain of 2 yards as he grounded him at the 32. So that runs Los Angeles out of downs. And they'll have to punt the ball back to the Dallas Cowboys, and Dallas has a good chance of getting good field position.
Jack, the Cowboys are forcing Gabriel into short passing situations. Both the wide receivers for Los Angeles, Jack Snow and Wendell Tucker, have been covered by the cornerbacks who are standing 10 yards off them. In addition, the safeties are coming up to double team them.
Stud still back deep to punt for the Rams. Mel Renfro and Bob Hayes are awaiting the kick. The high spiral towers into the air. Renfro gets under it. He takes it at the 20-yard line, still running along the 20. He can't get around the bend. He is caught and thrown. Tackle made by Bob Klein. A 46-yard punt. And the ball will be at the 19-yard line. So the field position, which the Dallas Cowboys had reason to hope for, didn't come about. His stud still boomed one. And they will take it on their own 19. Now the clock shows 5 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the third quarter. The score 14-0 in favor of the Los Angeles Rams. Dallas ball, first down, their own 19. Craig Morton taking a pitch out, spins and hands the ball to Garrison, and Garrison could get nowhere with it. He is grounded right at the line of scrimmage, the 19-yard line. Floyd Bacon was storming through there from his tackle position for the LA Rams, and he grounded him. And it'll be 2nd and 10 from the 19. Dallas which has several formations to throw at a defense, comes out of it now into the I formation with two wide receivers set to the left side. Morton back to throw, has time, arches one for less Shy, and Shy had a chance after that one. He had gotten past two of the Ram defenders going for the sidelines, but the ball slightly overthrown, sailed out of bounds, and is an incomplete pass. It'll be third down and 10 yards to go, still at the 19-yard line.
I'd be interested to know just how far Craig Morton could throw a football, should he have to. That time, again, with almost no visible effort, he triggered the ball some 45 yards. Cowboys trailing 14-0. Jack, we think we can look for them to go long, and the Rams are looking for that too, as they're playing deep backs a little bit deeper than usual.
I formation, two wide receivers set to the left. Morton in trouble again, and he is bound by Deacon Jones. Boy, you can feel that collision up here. Deacon Jones suddenly had a free shot as he eluded the blocker, took a couple of turning steps, and just smeared Craig Morton back at the 8-yard line. 11 yards lost on the play, and it's fourth down for the Dallas Cowboys. And their punter, Ron Whitby, will have to work from his own end zone. Ron Smith and Alvin Heyman are deep for the Los Angeles Rams. They are deployed along their own 45-yard line. Whitby gives it a good ride. And going back after it is Ron Smith. He's got it on his own 42. Back up the field. He crosses midfield and is out of bounds at the 39-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. A 47-yard punt measured from the line of scrimmage. And the Rams take it first and 10 on the Dallas 39-yard line. Timeout is called on the field with the score Los Angeles 14 and Dallas nothing. Jack Drees with Dan Crickey speaking to you from the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida, as the playoff bowl between the Dallas Cowboys and the Los Angeles Rams is now well into the third quarter. The score 14-0 in favor of Los Angeles. 4 minutes and 21 seconds remaining in the third quarter of play. Wendell Tucker swinging out wide to the left. Normal setback of the running back positions. Jack Snow wide right. Long count by Roman Gabriel. Then Gabriel gives the ball to Larry Smith, and Smith, shooting into the line, is not able to make much. Bob Lilly was there to greet him, and the ball is still on the 39-yard line for no gain. It's second and 10.
These great defensive linemen like Deacon Jones of the Rams and Bob Lilly of Dallas, you have to admire not only their physical strength at busting straight ahead, but that time Lilly fought off the straight-ahead zone block and just threw the man off with his hands, moved out quickly, and stopped the ball carrier for no gain.
Jack Snow is put to the left side this time. Matching him against the rookie Otto Brown, who's had himself a pretty good day today. Gabriel back to throw, throws right, and hits Bob Klein, the tight end, over there successfully at the 32-yard line. He's tackled immediately by the cornerback Bill Clark. So it's a pickup of 7 yards on the play, and he'll make it 3rd and 3.
And Jack, the normally sunny city of Miami, Florida, is now engulfed in a very heavy rain. We've had intermittent rain throughout the first half. Now we have pretty close to a torrent coming down. You really can't tell how long it's going to keep up, because we look off to the east portion of the city, it's clear and sunny. But right above the Orange Bowl, it's not good.
Bill Truax has come in, and he's come in normally a tight end. He's playing a wide receiver to the left. Wendell Tucker is split wide to the right. Bob Klein is playing the tight end. Larry Smith with a handoff. It's a sweep to the right. He can't quite get around the corner. He's over at the 30-yard line with Dave Edwards, the left linebacker, taking him out of bounds. It's close to a first down, but not quite. He got just inside the 30, and he had to get clearly to the 29. So it's fourth down with about a foot to go. We see no movement from the Rams bench. They're going to rely on their offensive ability to get that next foot and pick up a new series of downs inside the 29. They lead in the ball game 14-0. Larry Smith and Les Josephson are the running backs for the Rams. One receiver is set wide to the left. Otherwise, the tight line formation indicative of the run. And a fake to the halfback, and then a flip out to Josephson at the 20-yard line. He's down to the 16. Roman Gabriel coming back. Fake giving the ball to Larry Smith. Ran through the defender's end, expecting the run on a put-to-go situation. Then he flipped the ball to Les Josephson, who had started the play as though he was going to lead the blocking. Took it out wide to the left. Leroy Jordan, the middle linebacker, has come out of the ball game. And it's a first down with the ball at the 17-yard line. And Plank are both out now. Tight end split a bit to the right side. Gabriel looks, flips it out there to the tight end. Klein has it at the 10, the 5 still on his feet. He drags the tackler with it into the end zone. Dave Edwards had him at about the 3, but Bob Klein, who was 6'5" and 235, had the power to stay on his feet and tow Edwards with him into the end zone. The Rams have their third touchdown.
That was executed very similarly to the way the Rams scored their first touchdown. Gabriel looking to one side, pump faking to that side to draw the defense over, and the first time they scored in the first quarter, he swung it out to Josephson, who went in from 35 yards out. This time was the same thing, only to the tight end Bob Klein. He was left all alone. Gabriel pump fake to the left, then fired over to the right side, hit Bob Klein. So the try for the extra point by Bruce Gossett, and the kick is good. The timeout is called on the field with the score, Los Angeles 21, Dallas nothing. Now we're ready for the Los Angeles Rams to kick off to the Cowboys. The Rams sporting a 21-0 lead. Richmond Flowers and Claxton Welch are deep for the Cowboys. Gus gives the ball a big ride. It's a high kick that's going well into the end zone, and they're going to keep it there. Richmond Flowers is 5 yards deep in the end zone. He made the catch. Claxton Welch turned around and said, "Quit while you're ahead, because this will get the ball back to the 20-yard line," and that's where Dallas will put it in play. Now trailing by 21 points, 21-0. And, Jack, it's not an easy thing to do, particularly for a rookie to field that ball, as Richmond Flowers did not bring it out. Naturally, the natural inclination is to want to run it, and Flowers has 9.3 speed in 100. He's a track champion at Tennessee in the Southeast Conference.
Craig Morton back to throw. Dan Reeves, who was out with an injury, is back in. The ball goes to the left side on a one-man screen to Walt Garrison, who took it at the 20, picked up his screening block from John Nyland, the left guard, and went out to the 23, 24-yard line, where Merlin Olsen brought him down, the left tackle for the Los Angeles Rams. So it's pick up a 4 on the screen pass, makes it 2nd and 6 at the 24-yard line. Cowboys break from the huddle. Lance Renzel is coming out wide to the right side. Bob Hayes split to the left. High formation of the running backs. Now Garrison and Reeves shift out of the eye into a pair of wing backs. And Craig Morton, looking to throw, is hit on the blind side with a booming shot from Roger Brown. Some 300 pounds of right tackle for the Los Angeles Rams.
Craig Morton has to have a streak of toughness in the rebound from that, because Roger Brown, you pointed out, weighing 300 pounds, caught him with a forearm from the blind side. Morton turned, and just as he did, in came Roger Brown to deck him. That's as hard as you'll see anybody hitting football.
Lost him 7 yards. It'll be 3rd and 13 from their own 17-yard line. It was a pretty daring pass call, the kind of rush that Los Angeles front four can put on, because he set both his running backs out as wing backs, and he had no one back to help out on the blocking. Morton has been spilled 5 times now for total losses of 44 yards. Craig Morton going on the rollout this time, rolls out, and takes one down for Renzel, which is broken up by Clarence Williams, the left cornerback for the Los Angeles Rams. He got in front of Renzel and batted that ball to the ground. Both had to reach high in the air for it. It was a pass well off the ground and arrived at the target, and it's 4th down now for the Dallas Cowboys. They're on their own 17-yard line. And they have been unable to move against the big defensive pressure applied by the Los Angeles Rams. They will punt. The Rams are back Ron Smith and Alvin Haven are deep. Ron Whitby doing the punting. And the Dallas punt is on its way, but poorly. It goes off the side of Whitby's foot, just bounces at the 40, then bounces up across the Dallas 45 and rolls to a halt at the Dallas 47. So Los Angeles will get the ball 47 yards away from the Dallas goal line, and they lead 21-0. That punt recorded as only 30 yards in length as it rolled to a halt at the 47-yard line.
And I think there that Ron Whitby was guilty of one of the capital sins of golfing. He peeked. He was looking at the defense rushing him.
There is the end of the third period with the score, Los Angeles 21, Dallas nothing. Jack Greaves with Don Crickey speaking to you from the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida, as we now move into the final period in this game between Dallas and Los Angeles. The Rams in front 21-0 over Dallas. Los Angeles has the ball first down on the Dallas 47-yard line. Roman Gabriel, who has completed 11 passes out of 16 attempts, is at the helm. He goes for a run, gives the ball to Ellison. Ellison trying a cross putt to the right, can't make much. He got back to the line of scrimmage and then was hit by Leroy Jordan. And that was the end of the line for Willie Ellison. So it'll be second down. A little better than 10 yards to go now. There was a loss on that play. Let's call it 2nd and 11 at the 48-yard line. Tom Stensick is in playing left linebacker now for the Dallas Cowboys. Panning out to the left a bit, expecting a pass on 2nd and long yardage. But it is not to be. Dick Bass is getting the football. And Dick Bass is making his first appearance not only in this game, but for quite a while. Bass was out with injuries for virtually the entire season. His season record showed him carrying the ball once for a gain of 1 yard. Dick Bass is in there now. Chuck Hawley made that stop. And he was grounded at the 49 for a loss of another yard, and it's 3rd and 12.
How much Dick Bass could have been used by the Rams during the regular season. He's their all-time leading rusher with over 5,000 yards gained carrying the ball.
Hunter Pat Studstill has come in as a flanker back, and he is set wide to the right. Ellison and Bass, the running backs. Gabriel back to throw. 3rd and long yardage, and he lets one go. Brother Jack Snow has it at the goal line and is in for a touchdown. Boy, did he put that one in the sky. 49-yard touchdown throw. The man beaten was Arnold Brown, the rookie cornerback, and Jack Snow was just too much for him. He just was out on the fly pattern, and he flew.
Ever since the Los Angeles Rams burned the Dallas defense early in the game, another fly pattern of Snow that resulted in a 67-yard touchdown pass play, the Dallas quarterbacks have been playing off the Ram wide receivers. They've been giving them a lot of room, trying to protect against the fly pattern. Gabriel's been throwing short throughout the second half. And I've noticed, Jack, that those cornerbacks on Dallas have inched up a little bit, just a little bit too much. And Jack Snow got him again. Now the try for the extra point. Bruce Gossett to kick it. Eddie Hunter holds. And that kick is good. The timeout is called on the field with the score, Los Angeles 28, Dallas nothing. Now ready for the kick. Los Angeles kicking off. Gossett lifts one very high in the air. And this one is caught along the 15-yard line, run back across the 30 out to about the 35. Richmond Flowers getting that short kick and taking it out to that point. We pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the CBS radio. Dallas ball 1st and 10, just short of their own 35-yard line. Backfield shift. Morton dropping back to throw, pegs one up the middle, hits Dennis Norman with it. And that puts the ball out at the Dallas 43-yard line, a gain of 8 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd and 2. Jack Pardee, the linebacker, and safety man Nate Shaw combined to bring him down. The Particularly nice throw by Craig Morton of the Cowboys as he actually triggered the pass while he was still dropping back. Dallas with that big rush, and right now, the Rams with that big rush. Right now, the Rams are in an ideal defensive situation for themselves because Dallas has to throw, being trailing by 28 points. Second down, 2 yards to go. Morton gives the ball to Dan Reeves. Dan Reeves comes out wide to the left, gets around the corner, across the 50, 45, knocked out of bounds by Ed Vedder as he got that ball just short of the Los Angeles 40-yard line. 17 yards to pick up of the play, and it'll be 1st and 10. About a foot away from the Rams' 40-yard line. Jack Snow, incidentally, who had caught 2 long touchdown throws, has caught a total of 6 passes for the Los Angeles Rams, and the total yardage on the 6 passes, 148 yards. Lance Rensel goes out wide to the right. Slot back is set over to the right side. But the ball is given to Dan Reeves, and he comes back to the weak side or left side. And as he goes off tackle to the left, he's able to get inside the 40, down to the 39, where Marlon Olson, number 74, the left tackle for the Rams, was awaiting him. So it'll be second down, a shade less than 9 yards to go at the 39-yard line. Los Angeles out in front, 28-0 over Dallas. And their defense such that Craig Morton has to settle for the quick throws. He doesn't have the time to look for the bomb. Although a series of quick throws may set that maneuver up. He's going back deep now, but again the rush is on, and he takes to the safety valve. Dan Reeves off to the right, and the ball went through the hands of Reeves to fall to the ground incomplete. Floyd Bacon, the right tackle, and Jack Pardee, the left linebacker, both were successful in blasting through there and almost had Craig Morton. He released to a safety valve, but couldn't complete the pass. That could have gone all the way had Dan Reeves been able to catch the ball. He was so open, and he knew it, that he was starting to run before it got there, and when it did come, he wasn't ready to catch it. But that Ram rush is concentrated on one man, and that's the quarterback, and Dallas might move the ball successfully swinging it out like that. The Rams are pinching in at Morton. 3rd and 9 on the 39. Morton is now 9 completions for 16 attempts. Throws on a one-man screen. Completes behind the line of scrimmage, and all that Claxton Welch could do when he gathered in that pass was get to the line of scrimmage, where Myron Padios, the middle linebacker, and Corey Bacon, the tackle, brought him down for no gain. So it's 4th down on the 39-yard line. Craig Morton staying in there. There's not much point in Dallas trying a field goal from here when they're trailing by 28 points. And, of course, there's even less point to punting the ball and giving it to Los Angeles. We're in the 4th quarter with a little less than 11 minutes to play. So, with a 4th and long yardage being the situation. 4th and about 9, Morton drops back to pass. The pressure develops. He rolls to the left, lets one go toward the end zone to Bob Hayes, and it is broken up. The pass is incomplete. Defensive coverage down there by Clarence Williams, the cornerback, who stayed with Hayes remarkably well. The pass was a shade underthrown, so that Hayes had to kind of wait up for it. I know in a foot race, Hayes can beat anybody, but with the ball in the air, the foot race couldn't develop. And the pass was broken up, and Los Angeles takes over on downs. Strong as Craig Morton's arm is, that was the toughest throw for any quarterback. A right-arm quarterback moving to his left and couldn't get as much behind it as he would have liked, and the ball hung a bit. Williams got a chance to come back and recover. Timeout is called on the field with the score, Los Angeles 28, Dallas nothing. Now we're ready to go. Dick pass in the first play from scrimmage. Carry the ball 4 yards to the 43. It's 2nd down and 6. And a big pileup. As Ellison tries to pump into the line, gets it out to about the 45. It's caught and thrown back. Principal tackler Larry Cole, the left end. A gain of 2 yards. It'll make it 3rd and 4 from the 45-yard line. Los Angeles has the ball on their own 45. They lead in the ball game 28-0. 9.5 minutes to play in the game. That Cowboy defense, Jack, isn't going to give up much against the run. They are really tough, tightening up as the game wears on. Had a little problems earlier. Big pass, Willie Ellison of the running backs. 3rd down for Roman Gabriel.
He gives the ball to Dick Bass. Bass almost lost it as he was hit at the line of scrimmage. He was able to hold the ball and break that initial tackle, get out to about the 47-yard line. Tackle made by Tom Stinsick, the linebacker, and it is short of a first down. 2-yard gain. They needed 4. It'll be 4th and 2 at the 47. Mel Renfro and Bob Hayes are going back deep for Dallas now, anticipating the punt, which I'm sure the Rams will oblige. 8 minutes and 38 seconds left to play in the ball game with the clock running. Stood still deep for Los Angeles now in punt formation. And stood still, bluffs the punt. Chuck Howley was coming through. He ran away from that pressure. Is at the 40, at the 35. And he's down at the 31-yard line. Pat Studstill is bluffing the punt. With Chuck Howley storming in at him, veered away, ran to the right, and ran to a first down and then some as he goes to the 31, a 22-yard gallop.
Very obviously a set play. Studstill dropped back, paused momentarily. It was almost like a screen pass play as the offensive lineman peeled off to the right. They set up a channel of blockers. And once Studstill got by the one man who had a shot at him, he had clear sailing, covering 24 yards. And now the Rams are down to the 31-yard line of Dallas.
Los Angeles in front, 28-0, and apparently not through yet. Now Carl Sweetan has come in at quarterback. The handoff is given to Willie Ellison, and Willie Ellison could get nowhere. He lost yardage on the play, getting that ball back to the 34-yard line. Phil Clark was across in a hurry from his cornerback position. And the loss is practically 4 yards. The ball is going to be placed down just inside the 35-yard line. Let's call it 2nd down and 14 from the 35.
A player like Carl Sweetan, behind the likes of Roman Gabriel, who is avowed as the premier quarterback in the National Football League, doesn't get much playing time. I wouldn't be surprised if he'd go along looking for points.
Taking a long count, back to throw, rolling out to the right in trouble. He pegs one hurriedly as the rush develops and contact is made, and it's a low pass hitting into the ground and incomplete. Whittingham, along with Larry Cole, were coming in on the rush. Dave Ray, who is a place kicker and wide receiver and did a little kicking off for the Rams this season, has come in and is playing the wide receiver to the right side, or he was stationed at that post on the last play.
The Cowboys are affording so much coverage on the Ram wide receivers that Truax has been running long patterns. He's just got a linebacker to beat to get free.
Now Ray is wide to the left, and Studstill is wide to the right. And Bob Pine has come in at tight end now for Truax. And on a draw play, Dick Bass is the ball carrier, and he's able to get back to the 35, and that's it. Ron East was there to make the tackle, so there was no gain on that play. And it is now 4th down. Bruce Gossett is coming out of the field, and he will make a field goal attempt from some 42 yards away. Well, at the 35, the score at the moment is 28-0 in favor of the Rams over Dallas. Got just a shade better than 6 minutes left to play in this football game. Eddie Vedder on one knee at the 42-yard line. Gossett will try the field goal. It is long enough, and it is straight enough. The kick is good.
You can't do it any nicer than that. Bruce Gossett swung into that like a pro golfer with a 5-iron. He just ever so easy, laid into it and put it right through. And now the Rams have taken a commanding 31-0 lead. And you have to wonder what's running through the mind of Dallas coach Tom Landry at a point like this. He had closed his practice sessions all week. Despite the loss last week to the Cleveland Browns in the Eastern Conference playoff game, he wanted to get right back. His season wasn't over, nor was the Cowboys until they played this final game. They wanted to win it big, and very obviously the Rams do too. The kickoff to the Cowboys. Braxton Welch and Richmond Flowers are deep for Dallas. 5 minutes and 52 seconds left in the game. Los Angeles leading 31-0. An embarrassing evening
afternoon and evening for the Dallas Cowboys. Gossen lifts one very high in the air. Richmond Flowers moves under it at the 15, out to the 25, to the 30, breaks loose, gets out to the 40, they catch him there, and he is able to get it out to the 45-yard line before he's hauled down. Without question, the most violent moment in football is on the kickoff return when that blocking wedge that forms in front of the receiver, an initial wave of pursuit coming down from the kickoff team meets head-on. That time the Cowboys won it. They split open. The Ram pursued, and Richmond Flowers almost went the distance. He got 30 yards on the run back and gives the ball to Dallas at their own 45. Roger Staubach has come in at quarterback for the Cowboys, and he's not having much luck. Boy, the Rams are in and on him. A big rush by the Rams, front four. No blitz, just the four-man rush. And it got to Staubach with Roger Brown the first to hit him. And the contact was made at the 37-yard line for a loss of 8 yards. It's second down and 18. So Staubach is going to see if he can figure out a way. Second down, 18 yards to go. 4 minutes, 53 seconds remaining to be played in this football game. Dennis Holman is going out wide to the right. Staubach back to throw. Reggie Rucker is the target. And did he catch it? No, it's incomplete. Reggie Rucker went for a low pass. He was operating as a wide receiver to the left. Now they're going to keep it there. One official gave the arms down, crisscross signal indicating an incomplete pass. Another closer to the play said he had caught it. And the Rams are arguing the point with the official. Now the no-good signal is given, and it is being brought back as an incomplete pass.
Very, very difficult play for the official to assess unless he was right on top of it. He was as close as he physically could be. Rucker diving for the ball, and if he did make the reception, he made it inches off the ground. That's about as tough a call as a back judge is going to make in the course of the game.
It was ruled as trapped off the ground and incomplete, and so it is third down, 18 yards to go. And the ball still belongs to Dallas at their own 37-yard line. Staubach back to throw again. Again, the pressure develops, and Staubach's going to have a run at it. The 40, the 45, off to the sidelines to 50. Spun, but he holds his feet. Gets down to the Rams' 45 and is nailed by Pardee, number 32, at the 44. 18 yards, the gallop for Roger Staubach. And it'll be a first down, first and 10 at the 44-yard line.
Staubach's greatest success in football as a collegiate at Navy, where he ultimately won the Heisman Trophy, was as a mix-up quarterback. He could throw, and whenever the opportunity came to run like it was there, he stepped right out.
Staubach back, looking to throw again. Has time this time. The protection holds up well. His long throw is incomplete to Reggie Rucker. Double coverage on Rucker down there. Ron Smith, number 41, was chasing after him, along with Clarence Williams, the cornerback. Pass incomplete, and it'll be second and 10 from the 44. Dan Reeves are the running backs behind Roger Staubach, using Reggie Rucker as one wide receiver, Dennis Holman the other. Rucker is going out wide to the right. Holman is coming wide to the left. Second and 10. The score 31-0 in favor of Los Angeles. Staubach back to throw. He arches one toward the sidelines. A great leaping catch by Dennis Holman. And he slides out of bounds at the 28-yard line with Jim Nettles, the defender on the play. Dennis Holman had to dive through the air, and when he caught that pass, his body was horizontal to the ground. It's good for 16 yards. It's another first down, first and 10. Now the line of scrimmage is the 28. 3 minutes and 20 seconds left in this ball game. Cowboys under Roger Staubach trying to put something on that scoreboard. Staubach back to throw once more. Rolling out to the right as the pressure develops. Still going, and he cannot get away from Roger Brown. Boy, that's some kind of speed for a guy who weighs in at around 300 pounds. His program weight is 285. He may have lost a little in the warfare during the season, but he stays pretty close to that 300-pound mark, and he was able to track down Roger Staubach as he was rolling fast to the right and bring him down at the 31-yard line. It's a loss of 3. It'll be second down and 13.
Roger Brown got him right by the shoulder pads and set him up for Jack Pardee, the left side linebacker, who came in and put a clean shot on Staubach.
Staubach back once again. And that pass is blocked. Coming through was Marlon Olson, the left tackle. And he is 6 feet 5 inches tall. And Staubach tried to throw a liner over the line. Olson blocked it, and it fell to the ground incomplete. So it'll be 3rd and 13 from the 31. Clock at 2:49 to play.
Let's see now if they don't swing the ball out to one of the backs. As the Ram rush so heavy, it's awfully difficult for Staubach to set up to throw long.
Staubach has completed 2 passes. He's thrown 7. Back he goes once again. Heavy rush is on, but he gets clear to throw, and it is incomplete. The target was Reggie Rucker. The coverage was Jim Nettles, and Nettles stayed right with the receiver, then got his eye on the ball and batted it harmlessly to the ground for an incomplete pass, and it's 4th and 13 for Nellis.
I don't think there's any question that Reggie Rucker was sure he had 6 points as he had the defense beaten, that Jim Nettles recovered, and just as the ball arrived, Nettles connected with Mr. Rucker to break it up.
Rucker's a rookie from Boston U. He has come in late in this game as we're in the 4th quarter, and has been a deep target for Roger Staubach. And now it's 4th down with 13 yards to go, and of course Dallas must try again. Staubach back, pressure developing. Staubach's going to have to run it, and here he goes. He tries it down to the 23, to the 20. Ron Smith came in to make the tackle. The 20-yard line is short of a first down, and the Rams will take over.
Staubach has been dealt a great deal of punishment. The rain has abated somewhat, but we still have it falling. The Rams are so much in command now, it makes little difference.
Sweet-handed quarterback. Ellison and Bass, the running backs. Sweet-hand gives the ball to Willie Ellison. The sweep is on. He's coming around to the right side. Renfro fighting off a block gets in there. And he had help from Tom Stinsick, the linebacker, and they get the ball carrier down, but not until he had recorded 7 yards. As he gets the ball out to the 27-yard line, where it'll be 2nd and 3. And now we've come to the 2-minute warning. A warning being given to either bench. 2 minutes left to play in the game. We pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the CBS. Now we're ready to resume play. The ball at the 27-yard line. The Rams have it, 2nd down and 3. A lot of guys getting playing time now. Bob Klein is come in at tight end. The running backs are Willie Ellison and Dick Bass. Bass, who was lost to the Rams throughout this season. This year saw him able to carry the ball only once for a gain of 1 yard. And now, here in the closing stage of this game, after being activated for this contest, he is kind of getting his sea legs back once more. Pat Stutstill is coming out wide to the right side. Bob Klein is split out to the left. And Pat Curran is playing tight end. Bob Klein, normally a tight end, is used as a wide receiver right now. Sweetan gives the ball to Willie Ellison, and Ellison is able to punch to the 30-yard line, close to the 30, and that is close to a first down. See whether or not it will be enough to make it. Chuck Howley, right linebacker, was in there to make the tackle for Dallas. It's about a 1.5 foot short of the 30-yard line, so it's 3rd down with that much to go for a first down. Clock running, 1 minute and 25 seconds left to play in the game, and the ground play of the Los Angeles Rams eating up the clock. The score in the ball game is 31-0. Favor the Rams over the Cowboys. Now they're ready to go. A single flanker is out to the left side. The line in a tight running formation. The ball given to Dick Bass. He's trying to find a first down and can't do it. He's caught at the 29 and flung back. His forward progress was stopped right close to the 30. Now his forward progress may have been enough for a first down. It was very close. Chuck Howley caught him and threw him back. And they're going to bring the chains across to measure and see whether or not he made the first down. Lines, and he just did make it. Boy, there's about an inch of that football in front of the chain marker, and it's a first down for Los Angeles, and that about wraps things up for Dallas. Clock running once again, getting down to the 40-second mark as time remaining in the game. Sweetan using up more time with a long count at the line of scrimmage. Now the ball is finally snapped, and it's a pitch out going out to Willie Ellison. He goes around the corner. Sweetan gives the ball to Dick Bass. He has running room up the middle, gets a block at the 40, is out to the 44. Mel Renfro has him in his grasp, and he is down at the 44-yard line. That's a gain of 12. That's enough for a first down. The clock is running. It's down to 10 seconds. And the chant of the crowd is picking up the clock. The gun sounds, and there's the end of the game. We'll be back with a wrap-up in just a moment. So, at the game concluded, the gun sort of signaled the clouds because a torrential rain is pouring down now. And the youngsters have galloped out on the field, but with the very heavy rain coming down, it's tending to clear this field rather quickly. The final score, the Los Angeles Rams 31, the Dallas Cowboys 0. Remember, on most of these CBS Radio Network stations, the NFL championship game will be played tomorrow at Minnesota between the Vikings and the Cleveland Browns. That's tomorrow, January 4th. Then the Super Bowl a week later on Sunday, January 11th. And then the NFL All-Star Game, the famed Pro Bowl in Los Angeles, on Sunday, January 18th. This game got off to a quick bit of scoring as the Los Angeles Rams intercepted a first quarter pass on the second play that Dallas attempted to run after getting the opening kickoff. The interception gave him the ball on the 30. Gabriel was filled for a 5-yard loss on the first play, back to the 35, and then hit Josephson on a swing around the right side. Josephson kept right on going for a 35-yard touchdown play. And then the first of two real bombs by Roman Gabriel came a little while later in that first quarter when he hit on a 67-yard scoring play to Jack Snow. It was 14-0 from that point through the balance of the half. And as we got into the late in the third quarter, a touchdown toss from Gabriel to his tight end Bob Klein covered 17 yards and made the score 21-0. Then in the fourth quarter, another long heave to Snow resulted in a 49-yard field goal. It was a 42-yard shot by Bruce Gossett, and that delivered the final score of the game, 31-0 in favor of the Rams over the Dallas Cowboys.
Jack, it was the most impressive showing by the Los Angeles Rams. It certainly demonstrated that while they were knocked out of contention this year with their loss last week to the Minnesota Vikings in the NFL's Western Playoff, this team is very much after winning it all next year. They started today, and their quarterback, Roman Gabriel, who has been selected as the outstanding player in the National Football League in one poll announced already, certainly has to rate with one of the great quarterbacks, perhaps of all time, the way he's developed now. He has come on and improved every year. His coaches feel that he works too hard sometimes. He and Jack Snow oftentimes spend an hour or more after the regular practice session working on their passing game. But look at the end product. Two excellent long passes today, one covering 67 yards, one covering 49 for touchdowns. And if any player who stood out offensively, it'd have to be Roman Gabriel, but Deacon Jones wasn't bad in defense.
Well, that's it from the Orange Bowl, the playoff bowl, and the last one. As we have known them, now that the merger has been completed and will go into active use, beginning with the season coming up this fall, has concluded with Los Angeles the victor, 31-0. Our broadcast was sponsored in part by STP Oil and Gas Treatment, by your Ford Motor Company, and by Kent Cigarettes. This is Jack Trees saying so long for Dan Cricky and myself from the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida. And this is the CBS Radio Network.
San Francisco calling me.